Hello Diamonds, welcome to another edition of Healing Empathic Hearts. My name is Kathi Sottosanti, also known as Coach Kathi, and I am here to act as the guide to your inside, where we find your light and turn it on for good. Today I'm going to dive into a story or an experience that happened to me in the fall of 2019, which at the filming of this video is less than a year ago. At that time, I learned very valuable lessons about myself, but it was pre-pandemic, so it felt weird to share it. I just spoke to it to friends and those who knew me because it seemed weird to talk about it pre-pandemic. But since this whole thing has happened, everything has changed. I'm sharing my voice and taking you through experiences because I no longer find it weird and no longer think it should be kept quiet, because so many of us can learn from these 3 lessons. What we're going to be learning from this one experience of mine, the first 3 to get us started are the law of free will. The second is the energy flow is real. And the third most valuable lesson is you are your bodyguard, the bodyguard of your light. So I will explain. I'm going to do this in a 3-part series so that you don't miss out on the value of each of these 3 lessons. So let's get started. Back in the fall of 2019, I attended a workshop in New York City, and it was meant to break you down so that you would have breakthroughs. I knew then that it didn't feel right or in alignment for my learning experience. Everything about it felt wrong. The exercises were negative. I know it was meant to be a break opener, but it just felt so wrong. It was 2 nights and 2 full days, and they were long days. And every exercise was darker than the last. Again, really meant to break you down and break you open. But I knew then that this wasn't even remotely the way to help people raise their vibration, but I didn't trust myself. The team of 40 people wasn't allowed to start until all 40 were there. And pre-pandemic, we were so wired to how we lived, we weren't ready or awake or aware enough necessarily, at least for me, to be able to see through things enough to break the rules. I was a team player, I was a rule follower, and I was going to show up every day for the sake of this team of people I didn't know. I only knew a small handful of them, so that I could not let them down at the expense of myself. So for 4 days, I showed up to this workshop, and each day felt horrible in my own skin. On Sunday, I couldn't wait to leave. Herein comes lesson 1, the law of free will. For the sake of this team, I would not have walked out because it didn't feel right to me to leave the group, to let my team down. I didn't know 90% of them. I have the law of free will. Having this time off to regroup has taught me many valuable lessons, and these 3 lessons, 1 I knew at the time, but 2 have only come to me in the last couple of weeks. And that comes from conversations with like-minded spirits and souls. So thank you for everyone, because as I teach, I learn. And this is the most powerful one. That experience didn't feel right to me from the moment I got there. The law of free will says I could have left. I should have left. I did not need to go back the second day to something that I paid for that didn't feel good. But I didn't know at the time that it would have been okay. Protecting my light was more important than any of those people that I should have left. That was a powerful lesson that I didn't know at the time that really works to anything right now. Here it is. If something doesn't feel right to you, you have the power of free will. You can leave. Leave the situation. Leave the story. We're not bound to anything or anyone. If it doesn't feel right, the law of free will says you can walk out on that experience. Protect yourself. This is lesson 1. You have the law of free will. Use it. If this resonates with you, please hit the subscribe button because I've got 2 more very important lessons to share. And I want to make sure that you're coming along on this journey, the journey to finding our light and turning it on for good. And there are so many lessons yet to be shared. I'm so happy that you're here. So please hit that subscribe button. Lesson 1, the law of free will. Up next, the energy flu is real. Stay tuned.